The time is not 12:10, and the meeting of the Historic District Landmark Board is, and it's a regular meeting, is called to order. I will call, could you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Rebecca?
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
Siri wants to do it.
Yeah. Rebecca Sepulveda, Tomás Iseguirre III,
Here.
Roberto González, María Elena Morales,
Present?
Cristina Dávila Villarreal, Wayne Nance,
Here.
Paco Barrientos, Priscilla Iglesias, and Mark González.
Here.
For the record, Madam Chair, you do have quorum.
Okay, can we please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Nance, could you do us the honors?
Of course.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item is to consider the approval of the minutes of the last meeting of February the 9th, 2023.
I did read through the minutes and I move to approve the minutes.
There's been a motion to approve the meetings of the minutes of the meeting of February the 9th, 2023. Is there a second?
I second.
Having had a second, any questions, any discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Are there any citizens community, any cards, anybody want to have anything to say? Nobody signed
No,
up?
ma'am. I think our
Okay,
guests are here for the one item.
and so we go to item number 6, public hearing and consideration of the following. A is public hearing and consideration of a motion to consider the relocation of the air-conditioned units of the rooftop, the addition of the proposed roof access ladder and metal covering for the exterior dining area on the east 16 feet of Lot 3 and the west 42.11 feet of Lot 4, Block 25, Western Division of the City of Laredo, Webb County, Texas, according to the map of the plat thereof recorded in Volume 7, page 15, map records, Webb County, Texas, located at 908 Grant Street. This property is within the San Agustin de Laredo Historic District, and that would be HD-003-23, District 8.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a presentation. So the overview of this application, the applicant is Jesus and Maria Bernal, the owners. Sandra Bernal is the applicant. The property description location is the east 16 of Lot 3 and the west 42.11 feet of Lot 4, Block 25, Western Division of the City of Laredo, Webb County, Texas, according to the maps of the plat there recorded in Volume 7, page 15, map records, Webb County, Texas, located at 908 Grant Street. This property is located within the San Agustin de Laredo Historic District. The request requiring board approval is the applicant is proposing to the relocation of the air-conditioned units to the rooftop, the addition of a proposed roof access ladder, and the metal covering for an exterior dining area. The letters were sent, 10 of them were sent out, 4 were 0 and against were 0. This is the aerial view of the location. This is the front view of 908 Grant Street. This is the site plan. The site plan does show the proposed terrace and the proposed cage ladder. This is a section of the proposed terrace with the ladder. And here is a zoomed in version of what the terrace is going to look like with the materials. The corrugated galvanized steel, the steel pole in 2x6s, the 4x4 steel poles, and the ladder, the metal ladder. This is a proposed air conditioned unit. The current location of the air conditioning units are located on the east side of the property, and on the west side is where they're gonna relocate them to the proposed location on the roof. These are the renders of the proposed terrace of what they're proposing to construct. My apologies, this is meant to say render of the proposed terrace. Another rendering of the proposed terrace. And the staff recommendation. So the staff supports the proposed relocation of the air conditioning units to the rooftop for the following reasons. The City of Laredo Historic Urban Design Guidelines state to minimize the visual impact of mechanical equipment. Therefore, moving the air conditioning units from the ground level to the rooftop will fulfill the guideline standards. The City of Laredo Historic Urban Design Guidelines also states to use low-profile mechanical units on the rooftops to avoid visibility from the street level. The current air conditioning units will not be visible from street level. Overly large and highly visible mechanical equipment will have negative impact of the historic character of the building and setting. Thus, the mechanical equipment shall be minimally visible as stated in the Secretary of Interior Standards for the Treatment of Historic Properties with guidelines for preserving, rehabilitating, restoring, and reconstruction of historic buildings. The staff recommendation continues, and the staff does not support the proposed addition of the proposed roof access ladder for the following reasons. The addition of the proposed roof access ladder will alter and possibly damage the exterior features and finishes of the existing main historic structure. New additions and adjacent or related new construction will be undertaken in such a manner that, if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment will be impaired. And as per the Secretary of Interior Standards of Treatment of Historic Properties, rehabilitation as a treatment and standards for rehabilitation. Possible future removal of the proposed roof access ladder will affect the essential form and integrity of the existing main historic structure. And lastly, the addition of the proposed roof access ladder will obscure the character-defining historic features of the existing Acal structure. Continuation of the recommendation. Staff does not support the proposed metal covering, also known as the proposed terrace, as in the set of plans for the exterior dining area for the following reasons. The set of plans submitted shows the proposed terrace attached to the existing structure. This will alter the exterior appearance of the structure and does not preserve its historic character. New additions and adjacent or related new construction will be undertaken in such a manner that, if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would be impaired, as per the Secretary of Interior Standards for Treatment of Historic Properties, rehabilitation as a treatment, and standards for rehabilitation. Possible future removal of the proposed attached terrace will affect the essential form and integrity of the existing historic structure. New additions, exteriors, alterations, and related construction will not destroy historic materials, features, and spatial relations that characterize the property as per the Secretary of Interior Standards for the Treatment of Historic Properties, rehabilitation as a treatment and standards for rehabilitation. And lastly, for the recommendation, however, staff will support a proposed detached terrace to retain and preserve the existing historic structure. Alterations to existing structures that characterize a property will be avoided as per the Secretary of Interior Standards for Treatment and Historic Properties, rehabilitation as a treatment and standards for rehabilitation. A proposed detached terrace will not affect the existing historic structures, materials, and features. Possible future removal of the proposed detached terrace will not affect the essential form and integrity of the existing main structure. General staff comments. Any improvements which are approved by the Historic District Landmark Board shall also comply with the building code requirements and other regulations as provided in the Laredo Land Development Code. Approved by the Historic District Landmark Board does not guarantee approval of a building permit or any other permit which may be required. It is recommended that all the existing improvements utilize the following resource as a guide: the Secretary of Interior Standards for Rehabilitation and Guidelines for Rehabilitating Historic Buildings, the City of Laredo Historic Urban Design Guidelines, and the City of Laredo Historic Preservation Plan. And the proposed motion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So, Madam Chair, as you can see,
we don't have a problem with the air conditioned units moving. We don't think those air conditioners will be seen from, if you're standing in front of the restaurant, you're not gonna see them. They're gonna be in the back, that's not an issue. The terrace, the techo in the back, we just would like to see it not be connected to the building. If it could stand alone, no problem. I think that's a fair, just to keep it off the building, that's what we're suggesting. Now, when it comes to that ladder to go up to the roof, they want an access ladder, and you can see in the picture, it takes away from the, I don't know if they suggested that to you, or that's your suggestion to us,
Yeah,
but
they suggested, when we send it, they
That's
send
what
it
they-
back,
that's what I
and that's
thought.
what they requested. My
But-
dad didn't want it.
yeah, and look, we were looking for something,
We thought that a good idea, my dad thought that a good idea was to put it, where is it? Here,
Ahí no se ve nada.
that's on the side. and
well,
it's
that's what
in
we
the
were
area.
suggesting. Also, we just didn't know if you could get back there.
Yeah, you can,
see
yeah, you
somebody?
can, but they didn't, they said no.
They,
Our architect said that it didn't fit the diameters that they were given, so it didn't fit there.
Yo estoy
With the-
seguro que sí cabe ahí.
He thinks that it does, they said no.
but who gave the parameters? The city?
Yes.
Okay. The ladder is the only thing that I'm curious about, because, one, the ladder that they show in the picture, little kids can get on it. Then you have that round thing, it doesn't work out. I've seen ladders that are on the building, but they have like a gate that closes over and it's locked.
Yeah.
So you don't have kids climbing up or whatever, just, but then when they do have to service the roof, they just open the gate and then you go up. That's a little less noticeable.
Is a permanent ladder required?
Well, that's the question that we had.
That's
in-
what we got told, yeah, but we don't, if it's not a requirement, if you can get away with that, then.
Right, because I was saying, air conditioning companies come with a lift, they come with their
You're not gonna get that
ladders.
AC down that cage. I
Mhm.
mean,
And
you're not gonna
so-
get anything down there.
It would just, you see what it looks like, and, I just question that, and I assumed that it was the architect also in
Le
saying that.
va a quitar vista al techito
Sí,
y le
claro.
va a quitar vista a todo.
Claro.
Yeah.
So, in talking, we were talking about the other side,
The other side.
and if there was access to get around, to put the ladder in the service
Igual le
desk. and go-
ponemos una candado y una.
Un candado y una reja, algo que se tapa para que nadie
no
más
se-
pueda
no se van
subir.
a subir.
But they're not required to have a ladder at all.
That's what we got told.
That's,
That you are. You are required.
she is saying the building is requiring it,
Building department, yeah.
building department. So,
To,
my suggestion would just be to adjust it to where it's not visible, and then to secure it so that people aren't using it to go up and down, that only when they need service, they open it up.
but they're requiring it because of the air conditioning unit?
Mhm.
Well, my neighbor
So-
is the store, and they have all their units up, up on the roof, and there's no ladder.
And that's the question that I have also, because I wanted to know what's the reasoning behind this, because most service
Because when the
companies have their own
service people
ladders,
And
you
it's
can
not
take
even
care
a
of
two,
it.
like, it's not even
Yeah,
two-story.
It's not two-story,
It's not very
the story,
tall.
but, if it's recommended, I would recommend that we do it in the location that we're talking about, And of course, if it's something that's not necessarily required, that we don't put a ladder.
What happens in the event that building department says that that area is too small to fit the ladder? Because that's what they told you, right?
Yes.
So then what steps can we take?
The only thing I would ask is that let's say, if the location's gonna be that location, that we take that
That
ring
round,
off
that
and then,
cage.
and make it flat to the building,
Okay.
Yeah.
just to make it look a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
Elevated tanks have the ladders that go up and then you lock them.
Mhm.
I don't know what good that's gonna be. I don't know why they require this ladder, but no, I know that because exactly so that kids and my uncle don't climb the elevated tank. And so
Who wants to do that?
they roll it up and then, you lock it and then you pull it down. Fire
So-
escapes, the New
something-
York fire escapes.
Something more for safety. It is a restaurant, you could have a family there, and then little boy I say boys, you know,
They'll
they're the
go
ones
up.
that go running. But that was my only thing, to try to adjust that.
Yeah.
And of course, not connecting the canopy to the building
Yeah.
itself. And then, of course, we're okay with the air conditions where they were.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions on that?
I have no question.
I have a question
Yes.
for the Bernals. That's the way it looks right now?
That's a rendering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. And what you wanted to do was to attach that to the building?
no, it's not gonna be attached.
Okay, so
No.
you're in agreement with the recommendation?
Oh, yes,
that
yes.
The
No, it-
recommendation is not to approve it if you want it attached?
No, we don't want it attached.
Okay, so that would be one issue that would be off.
Correct.
Okay.
And we were okay with the air conditioners?
The air condition is fine, and then the ladder, if
If it's
the building
required,
department requires it, they could relocate it to the back of the building.
ideally, we would like to relocate it to the back of the
Back.
building and then change the design to where it's closed with a key. If it's, if the building department requires it to be in that specific location, we would make sure that happens, but still with the same design where they lock it for safety.
With a safety.
Yes. And this is a public hearing, so I don't know if you want.
Yes.
No,
No, that's the only question I have.
No,
They're in
okay.
agreement with
Yes.
they're in agreement with your proposal,
Mhm.
and they're willing to do what we're recommending that you do.
Yes, ma'am.
If
If-
there's any further discussion, do I have a motion to close the hearing?
A motion. Close the hearing.
I second.
Okay, motion to close the hearing, been second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? And are we ready to have an action motion?
We are, if you all are
If that-
comfortable, if there's any more questions. We're
Is
happy to
there
answer.
a motion
Yeah.
to consider,
Now, how would I say this?
be a
Yeah.
motion to
Motion,
approve?
yeah, close public hearing, and then approve, subject to comment staff, and that the owner's in agreement to detach the patio existing structure, and to further advise staff to consult with the building department for the removal of the ladder if possible. If not, to allow the ladder. Second, item B would be to relocate the ladder, or item C, if that is not possible, per the building department. Then it can remain in the current location as long as it has a safety locking device.
And remove that.
I don't know
Ring.
if they'll allow the cage to be removed. That, I've seen that on tanks sometimes, they have to do that.
Gotcha.
If allowed. So, very, I'm done, that's the end of my motion.
Also the air conditioners that.
Oh, and yes, per staff, the relocation of the air conditioners will be allowed. Does that make sense to you
Yes,
all?
perfect.
As I understand your motion, Mr. Nance, is a motion to approve
Yes,
the relocation of the air conditioning unit to the rooftop.
correct.
And in addition, as it concerns the ladder, that the ladder be, if possible, if approved by the building department, that you relocate it to the back of the building. If that is not possible and building absolutely requires you to have it in the location that they propose, that then that ladder have a safety, that it would be,
Retractable.
well, it would be a retractable ladder
Yes.
with a safety
Well, we'll meet
feature. We will, well,
What the building
accordance to,
department would-
yeah, in accordance, that the ladder be installed in accordance with the building department requirements,
Did they,
which are to include a safety feature so that there's no attraction for children.
do we have an opinion from building? Nothing yet.
I have not
Okay.
received.
What we'll do is,
Or the removal.
Or the-
I think that was number one, what I
Or-
heard,
yes.
is the
Try to
removal
remove it.
if they would
Well,
allow it.
Preferably that it be removed.
Mhm. But
That
if
would
they
be
do
number one.
require it,
that-
yeah.
that as it comes, as it concerns the ladder,
Mhm.
that our, the motion is that the ladder be removed altogether. If building department requires it,
Mhm.
that then it would be constructed it would be constructed in the back of the building. If the building does not allow you to do it, then it would be built in accordance with the building requirements and that it has a safety feature. That is the motion, Mr. Nance?
Yes, that is.
Is there a second? It's second. Is there any further discussion?
And the approval of the
And
detached roof.
Yes. That the roof is approved with, provided that it's detached.
We're being recorded, so we'll,
Yeah.
we have video on this, we'll be
So
okay.
I have a first, a motion by Mr. Nance, and a second by Ms. Iglesias. Is that correct? Any further discussions? Then we will call it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
I'm still.
Very kind of you to
Yes.
try to improve the downtown area.
Congratulate you guys on everything you guys do.
We send in invitations when we.
When you open it?
Yes.
How exciting, thank you
Oh, good
guys.
luck.
So it's gonna be a restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
What kind?
It's El Mesón, we're just.
Yeah.
Yes, and hopefully, yeah.
Good luck.
We're halfway there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will be calling.
Oh, election of
Are we gonna do number 7, Mr.
We still have-
We still cannot, we need 100% attendance, so.
Okay. So item number 7 will not be brought forward. We do not have the required, the 100% attendance. Number 8 is director's report. Do we have anything on that?
Just to introduce Tomás Izaguirre III. He is
My
he's-
pharmacist?
He is a pharmacist, he's a owner of downtown buildings. So we're happy to bring somebody on board that has an
That's
investment
correct.
in the downtown area, which always helps. So, and he's good for about 16 points a game, so.
I don't know about now. It's been a while.
It's a
So-
huge investment, that hotel of yours.
It is.
I'm
So-
happy to be here, so thank you very much.
And that's it?
That's it? Okay. Any motion to adjourn?
Motion, adjourn?
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.